Hey there, Pod Pals. Are you looking to elevate your POD game and stay ahead of the competition? Well, we've got just the thing for you to help you stay on top of what's happening in the print-on-demand metaverse. Introducing the Podcast VIP List, your gateway to all things POD. As a VIP member, you'll receive our exclusive annual design calendar, a must-have tool tailored specifically for creators like you. This isn't just any calendar, it's your roadmap to navigating this year with confidence. With detailed information on various seasons and events happening throughout the year, you'll know exactly when to start designing and creating listings for those key moments. No more guessing games or missed opportunities, just strategic planning and timely execution. But wait, there's more. Who doesn't love a good laugh? As part of our weekly email, we're throwing in a bonus dad joke to keep your spirits high and your creativity flowing. It's our way of adding a little extra joy to your print-on-demand journey. Joining is simple. Just head over to printondemandcast.com/VIP and sign up. It's your next step towards a more organized, efficient, and enjoyable print-on-demand experience. Don't miss out on what hundreds of other Pod Pals have already discovered. Sign up today and let's make this year your most successful one yet. See you on the other side. Welcome back to the Print on Demand Cast. In this week's episode, we're going to be answering the question, why aren't you selling there yet? Let's get into it.
Radical! Welcome to this week's episode of the Print on Demand Cast. Each week, join the gnarly Travis and Josiah as they provide insight into the print-on-demand industry and equip you with the totally tubular tools, advice, and strategies you need to achieve success, and hopefully have a few laughs along the way. Now on to this week's Totally Tubular show.
Well, hey, everybody. Thanks for listening and tuning in to episode 184. This is another Podcast Essentials episode, so I'm going to be solo today. And today we're going to be answering the question, why aren't you selling there yet? And you're going, selling where yet? Well, we'll get to that, of course. But first, I just wanted to let you know these Podcast Essential episodes, if you didn't tune in the last time we did one, they are a little slower. They're a new format, slower. They're a little shorter. It's a new format we're trying to do. It's going to be like one host typically. Eventually we might try to do, make this a second weekly show. For now, it's just kind of the default when Josiah or I can't make it to the recording. So, but yeah, you're stuck with me this week. It's probably going to be a little shorter show, but I think it's going to be a good one. Let's find out. But before we get into the meat and potatoes, as Josiah would say, it's time for everyone's favorite segment, the weekly dad joke.
Time for the weekly dad joke.
All right. We can't let 1 week go by without doing another dad joke. So I was recently talking to my grandfather, and he claimed that he glued himself to his autobiography. Yeah, right, Granddad. I don't believe him, but that's his story, and he's sticking to it. Yeah, you're welcome. All right. You can use that at your job, or, like I do on Wednesday nights when I go play poker. I am known as the dad joke guy. And I've got there's another friend of mine that actually goes, and we exchange dad jokes all the time. As a matter of fact, for those of you who are watching on YouTube, I got this calendar. I think I mentioned it a while back, but it's actually on February 13th, which is way off. But here's a bonus dad joke. What do you call a fish with two knees? A two-knee fish. Yeah, that doesn't even rate. I'm not even going to put the badoom boomps for that one. It's just bad, but it's a lot of fun to share these dad jokes when you're out and about. So feel free to use that one. And without any further ado, let's just jump right in to the main event.
Ladies and gentlemen, the main event.
All right. So why aren't you selling there yet? or here yet, or some anonymous place that you don't know what I'm talking about yet. So a lot of our listeners, they start out, they're a lot of them are selling on Etsy, or they're getting ready to sell on Etsy because that seems to be the trend right now. There's a lot of content out there that's talking about how to do well on Etsy, how to start on Etsy, how much money you can make on Etsy. And that's all, well and fine. Etsy is a great channel to start with print on demand because the user interface is really simple, et cetera, et cetera. And there are a lot of eyeballs on that site. It's growing and growing and growing, and more sellers are getting on that particular platform. But after some discussions with some of the people that listen to our show, I kept coming back to this same question. And the question is, as you might have already guessed, why aren't you selling on Amazon yet? And there's a myriad of answers as to why. And I think the best one is probably time. It takes time to learn another channel. And that's true for any channel. It takes time to learn how to sell on Etsy to begin with. But let's just suppose that you've already done that. You've already learned how. You've already launched a store. You've already got some products up there, or you're in the process of it and you're nearly there. Why wouldn't you take those same assets and move on to a new channel? And that's really kind of what I want to focus on, and maybe answer some of the common questions that people have about Amazon, and give you some encouragement to maybe try it out. So why expand beyond Etsy? Well, I mean, just numbers alone, when you compare Etsy and Amazon, the marketplaces, Etsy's massive, no doubt about it. But Amazon is the 800-pound gorilla, as you've heard us refer to it on the show. In January of 24, according to similarweb.com, and I'll drop this link in the description. It's a really cool site. You can compare different websites and see, different things about them. But in January, they report that Amazon had 2.5 billion visits. That's Amazon.com. Okay. Etsy.com had 474 million visits. So right there, it's only 20% of the traffic in January that Etsy's getting. Now, the other thing that you need to realize is that that's the .com. That's not including the other 20 different country websites. They have a Amazon.co or UK.co for the UK. They have an Australian website. They have an Indian website, a Chinese website, and these are specific to those countries. And believe it or not, you and I can sell on those platforms as well. So how many more millions, potentially billions of visits did they get in January when you total up all of those 20 or so different countries? Now, true, Etsy, you can sell to all these other countries too. And Etsy does. Etsy has a global presence. I'm simply talking about the number of eyeballs coming to the site. And if you total up all of the different Amazon assets or websites, it dwarfs Etsy's presence in sheer number of visits per month. And that's just the facts. It's not that Etsy's worse or Amazon's better. It's just Etsy or Amazon's been around a lot longer, and Etsy's catching up, but they're two totally different platforms. So the potential for increased sales with Amazon, just putting your actual products in front of new people, the potential is obvious, right? I mean, you're talking about 5 times as many potential people that could see your products that will never see them if you continue to just stay on Etsy. And I mean, the obvious business answer is diversification is always key to mitigating risks in any business, not just e-commerce. And this is one way that you can take some of your apples out of Etsy's basket and create a new basket. I focused on diversification probably 3 or 4 years ago. We are now on, we started on Amazon. We're now on Etsy. We're now on Walmart. We have some Shopify. We have wish.com. We have Bonanza. We have local. I've tried to put my eggs or apples or whatever, whatever fruit or vegetable. What is an egg? Is it Is it a seed? I'm dumbfounded right now. It's an egg. I mean, we eat it, but obviously it's a bird. Okay. I'm getting way off track. And Josiah, when you edit this, please cut that out. I moved a lot of my.
We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Will Haywood, host of All Business, No Boundaries, a podcast where we talk about supply chains and the critical role they play across all kinds of businesses. We talk to logistics professionals about the challenges keeping them up at night, and we talk to industry experts about innovative ways to make supply chains work better. On this podcast, it's not just logistics, it's the power to break down barriers. That's All Business, No Boundaries by DHL Supply Chain. Listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Eggs out of the just Amazon basket for this very reason. I wanted to have some diversification. Amazon is still probably 75 to 80% of my total sales every single month. And that's a big chunk. And so that's one of the reasons I wanted to present this to you as a potential option moving forward in your business. If you're doing well on Etsy, there's a potential for you to do really, really well on Amazon. So let's continue to move on. So like I said, these are your assets. These are your designs. These are the mock-ups that you've created. You've done all of the work. It's simply just a matter of getting them in front of more people. You have everything. If you followed some of the way we do it here at Make Your Mark Design and what we talk about on the Print on Demand cast, then you've already got everything, nice and tidied up in that beautiful spreadsheet that we've talked about. You have all your mock-up links, you have all your print links, you have all of your descriptions, your titles, all of the tags, all of that stuff. You have it all. And if you don't, you should be good. You should be creating that. That's a good thing to have, regardless of if you're only going to sell on Etsy or if you're going to move to another platform. But that's what that's basically the material that you need to launch on a new site. And you already have it. Even if it's not organized yet, you can organize it or have somebody organize it. And then you'll have everything you need pretty much to move on to a new site. So one point of clarification as we move forward, I am not talking about Amazon Merch on Demand. Okay. Amazon Merch on Demand is a great platform. It's a wonderful platform. It's a royalty-based platform. And what I mean by that is that when you are licensing your designs to Amazon, they're creating everything. They're creating the listing. They're doing everything. All you're doing is typing up, a title and a couple of bullets and licensing your design on specific products. They are the seller of record. They send, they ship, they take care of the returns, and then they pay you a royalty. Amazon Seller Central is the physical products side of Amazon. So it's very similar to Etsy in that you are the seller of record. So when you get a sale, you get all of the money minus their commission or their, whatever fees that they're going to charge you on that particular platform. But you get all the money and then you have to fulfill the sale. And if you don't, well, the buyer, is going to complain to the platform and you're going to get in trouble. If the buyer has an issue, they're going to contact you. They're not going to contact the platform because you are the seller of record. So I am talking specifically about Amazon Seller Central and not Merch on Demand. So the cool thing is though, and this is just kind of wrapping this up in a tiny bow, you can sell on both. That's the cool thing. You can sell your products on Merch by Amazon and then take that very same design and put it on products on the Seller Central side. I started my printing journey with Merch by Amazon. It's now Amazon Merch on Demand. I started my journey with printing with that, and I started creating hundreds, if not thousands of designs and started loading them. I haven't touched my merch account in years. And I still make between $400 and $500 a month of just passive income that I haven't even messed with for years. But what happened was when I realized I could take those same designs and diversify, I started sublimating coffee mugs in my basement. And that led to where we're at today, where I have hundreds of thousands of products across multiple different sales channels. including Merch on Demand and including Amazon Seller Central. Okay, so let's dig into the details a little bit about Amazon. There are two selling plans on Amazon. You can sign up for an individual account or a professional account. The individual account is free, technically, per month. You just get you get charged $1 for every item you sell, plus any fees that are associated with the normal selling of that product. And those fees we'll get into in a minute, but they're category based. It also depends on if you are using their FBA program, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But you're going to be whatever those fees are plus $1 if you're on the individual plan. For a professional plan, which allows you to upload products with a spreadsheet, which I love, it's $40 a month or $39.99 per month and that covers you for the US, Canada, and Mexico. If you're in this side, you can also, if you want to sell just in the UK, you don't want to be on the .com, which I don't necessarily recommend. You can do a European. I think it's 40 pounds. I'm not sure exactly what it is over there, but it's a separate fee because but you get like 5 countries with that, or 6 or 7 now. Back when I did it, it was 5, but regardless, that kind of goes off the script here. But for $40 a month, you can get a professional plan you don't have to pay that extra $1. You just pay the regular fees. So, if you think about it, the math is really once you're starting to sell around 40 products a month or more, it makes sense to switch to a professional plan. Or if you want to take advantage of uploading massive spreadsheets right off the bat, because you've got everything in a spreadsheet and you're just going to move the columns so you can upload to Amazon, then it makes sense to go with that professional account. So it allows you to add products, thousands at a time if you need to. The cool thing about and kind of a Etsy versus Amazon comparison, one of the cool things about Amazon is that once you've listed a product, it's going to stay there. First of all, it doesn't cost you anything beyond that $40 a month or that $1 when something sells, but it's just going to stay there. It's going to be there until you take it down, or God forbid, Amazon takes it down for a policy violation or something like that. But it's just going to stay there. It's always going to be for sale on their site. That's really cool versus Etsy, which is, 20 cents per listing for 4 months. So every 4 months, you have to re-up, and so you're having to constantly go, well, is this selling? Is that not? I don't know. Should I take it? Should I renew it? I don't know. It's, you don't have to think about it. You launch it and you leave it. That's a bonus on Amazon. Okay. So we were talking about FBA earlier, and I wanted to kind of dive into that a little bit. So you have FBA and you have FBM. FBM is, we'll start on that because that's what you're used to with Etsy. It's fulfilled by merchant. You and I are the merchant. And when we get an order on Etsy, we're going to pass that order along to our print on demand vendor, and they are going to send it out on our behalf, and the customer's happy and they pay, and everything's great. Or you're going to make it at your place, like when I was doing coffee mugs in my basement, and I still am. I have many machines down here. I can do different things if I need to, but I'm sending it out. I am the merchant and I'm fulfilling the order. That's how Etsy is. That's how most, probably 75% or more now of my Amazon business is FBM. Same with Walmart. What Amazon started many years ago, and when I got into e-commerce in 2014, I used a ton of, when I would do arbitrage and private label branding, I would import products from China. I would go to Walmart and make a deal with a manager, and then I would get them all home, get all these products home, box them up, put special labels on them, and send them into Amazon for their FBA program, fulfilled by Amazon. And what that means is that Amazon stores your products, and then when an order comes in, they pick them and pack them. The other benefit is that when someone goes to the Amazon website and they're searching for a product, there's a certain percentage of people that will click the show me the Prime only options. And what that means is when it's Prime, that means that Amazon has it physically in their facility. It's not FBM, it's FBA. And so when you consider that there are 230 million Prime members worldwide, even a small percentage of them clicking that button, that's some pretty powerful search if you have taken the time to learn how to send your products into Amazon, fulfilled by Amazon into their centers. So let's look at the difference in the cost though between FBM and FBA. So FBM on Amazon is going to vary by category, but for most of the print on demand products that you would send, like a apparel or a coffee mug, kitchen kind of things or home decor, most of it's going to fall on the 15% referral fee. And you're like, oh my gosh, Etsy's only 6.5%. That's so much more. Well, you're also paying 20 cents every 4 months on that listing. And every time it sells, you have to relist it. So you're paying that 20 cents there. Then so there's a lot of other fees that Etsy's not just, it's kind of, well, let's just say it's not 6.5% straight. Okay. On Etsy, it's a little bit more than that, but yeah, 15% is still probably more when you total it all up. And of course that depends on the cost of the item, how much percentage that 20 cents is going to take up, and et cetera, et cetera. But you get the idea. 15% isn't crazy when you don't have a listing and you can just one time list it and leave it there and it'll sell as many times as it will, 15% every single time. For FBA, when you send your products in to Amazon, it gets a little bit more complicated because now there are, you still pay that 15% referral fee for whatever category it sells in, but there's a pick and pack fee. There's a shipping, they have to receive the goods. They have to set the goods. They have to pick the goods. They have to, rebox them if they need to. And then they have to pay for their storage. And so all of those fees, a lot of those fees are wrapped up into one fee per item. And then on a monthly basis, you can be charged storage fees. You get a 30-day window to sell your product. And then after that, they start charging you a small monthly storage fee. And it's very small. They do increase that monthly storage fee in Q4 because obviously everybody's sending in a ton of stuff for Q4 because that's the biggest selling season. And so it's just a lot more hectic. They have to hire a lot more people, so they need to make a little bit more money. And they're also Amazon and they know how to make money. So they increase those fees a little bit in Q4 as well as some of the fulfillment fees. But after all is said and done, there is potential for some profit to be made. And again, FBA products will almost always sell better on the whole as an FBM product, partially because of that search thing that I talked about when someone presses Prime and, they're only looking at the Prime products. Your FBM products aren't showing up at that point. And then people they feel better about buying Prime because they feel like they're buying from Amazon. They don't necessarily even know that we exist. They just think they're buying from Amazon, even though it's not. It's me. I sent it to Amazon. Amazon's shipping it, but I'm the one who's selling it. I think that that understanding that there are actual individual sellers on Amazon is being proliferated, and it's more and more people understand that. But back when I started, nobody really knew that, or not a lot of people knew that. So that's something to consider. The idea here is to launch a bunch of FBM products. And as you're getting sales on some of these FBM products, you're like, well, why don't I send 6 of these or 12 of these, or, a case packed, of these to Amazon and see if I can increase the sales volume and make up for the more expense that I'm going to, pay and having to pay for the inbound shipping and then the extra fees. If I can make that up in volume, plus I don't have to worry about having to make those things. I don't have to worry about my print vendor, messing something up or whatever, because I know that these products are already available. It's super helpful in Q4 too, when the volumes just go crazy. several years ago when when we were at the Make Your Mark design facility, we created or we made, I don't even know, it was thousands of coffee mugs. It was on we just had 4 pallets, and they were all boxes of 36, all different designs. And I think there were, I would say 16 boxes of 36. So 16 times 36 times 4 is what we sent into Amazon. And almost all of those, well, by now they've all sold through, but almost all of those sold through in Q4. They do have some limitations on how much you can send now based on your monthly sales, which kind of messes up your Q4 targets, because you're not selling a lot in September. And then all of a sudden you want to send a bunch of stuff in October, and they're like, hold on, buddy, you can only send this much in. So they have changed the game a little bit, but still the fact remains, if you have some winners and you can get them into FBA and get some volume on those things, specifically around the holidays, you can do really, really well. All right. So getting ready to kind of wrap this up, but there are a couple common challenges that you'll need to consider before moving into Amazon. The interface is more detailed than Etsy. Etsy they've done a pretty good job of keeping their interface user friendly. The Amazon interface is a little bit more confusing, but just like Etsy, there's a million videos on YouTube that'll show you how to add a product, how to create a product, what you need, what you don't need, all of those things. And it's not potentially as confusing as it may seem. And once you've been in it for a while, you can understand a lot of where things are and how to navigate that, how to add products, how to check your feedback, how to communicate with buyer questions, all of those things. It's not as daunting, I guess, as it may seem, at least at first. The second thing that you'll need to be aware of is that because we're doing print on demand products, Amazon will require you to get a GTIN exemption. And we've talked about this on the show. Basically, a GTIN is a global trade identification number. So think UPC, think was it an EAN in Europe, I believe, but the UPC code is what they require that for anybody to sell. Obviously, print on demand products, they're made to order. They don't have a UPC. So we get what's called a GTIN exemption. So we don't have to have those UPCs or EANs on our products, and Amazon is fine with that. So you have to apply for that. The easiest way to do that is brand registry. Brand registry is basically saying, hey, I'm a brand and I produce all of these products. Now, the thing that they require is that you get for brand registry is that you have an active trademark. And so this can be a word mark. I have the trademark on Make Your Mark Design, and that is the trademark I used for my brand registry on Amazon. And so it allows me to have a little bit of control over what's going on, behind the scenes at Amazon. And it also makes it a little more difficult for people to copycat or jump on my listing or try to sell the same products. But what it does do is it gives me a very easy path to GTIN exemption. All I have to do is say, when I upload my spreadsheet, I just say GTIN exempt and it's under my brand, and that's it. It's very simple. So again, a hurdle, yes, but it's not a tall hurdle. I mean, really, guys, the bottom line of this whole episode, and I'm going to wrap it up here. What are you waiting for? Start with an individual plan, and just work from there. You can move to a pro plan eventually. If you feel like it, you can learn how to create your first spreadsheet while you're still on the individual plan, switch it to a pro, and then upload that spreadsheet and have 1,000 SKUs active, just like that. So, I mean, there's a lot of different things you can do to kind of mitigate your cash outlay while you're actually moving towards this goal of diversifying your sales channels. The cool thing is that the next one after Amazon, it's Walmart. And it's, again, daunting. Yes. Impossible. Heck no. I continually see more and more. I am getting more and more sales year over year on Walmart, and I'm loading new products, and every product that goes on Amazon is going on Walmart too. So it's diversification is what we're talking about here. So, all right, that's it. I hope that I've answered at least some of your questions about Amazon and what it takes. If you're not on our VIP list, I would invite you to join that. I send out once a week kind of a summary email of the episode. It'll also give you the ability to reach out to me, if you have questions. If you're serious though about making this move to Amazon from Etsy, or to Amazon from another platform, and you really want to take this to the next level, I would love to hear from you. You can reply to the VIP email list. That's the easiest way. Just go to printondemandcast.com/VIP to sign up, and you'll get the email. Or you can just literally email us at info@printondemandcast.com. That's just as simple. But if you're serious about it, I'd love to hear from you and hear what your objections are, hear what your challenges are, and see if there's something that we could do that might overcome those. Again, it's daunting, but it's not impossible. It's very, very doable. And I think with that, I'm going to wrap this bad boy up right at the 30-minute mark. Hey, how about that for a print on demand essentials episode? Let me find the outro music. Isn't that always the challenge? But until next time, I'm Travis, and I don't know where Josiah is, but we'll see you next time right here on the Print on Demand Cast. See ya.
Hey babe, thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Print on Demand Cast. We hope you enjoyed the Totally Tubular Show. If you've got a question or a suggestion for the show, send Travis and Josiah an email at info@printondemandcast.com. Want to be wicked nice? Take a minute to rate and review the show on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to subscribe now so you don't miss next week's episode. See you next time, for sure.
In a world where businesses everywhere are trying to make print-on-demand sales, one podcast goes above and beyond every week to bring the most POD-specific information there is, all to help save the day, every day. Don't succumb to the enemies of your print-on-demand business. Sign up today for the Print on Demand Cast VIP email at printondemandcast.com/VIP. This time, it's for real.